Mr. A.L.N. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Sandy, thank you. Mr. George, thank you for joining us. Mr. Naziru Bawa, thanks for joining us. Mr. Derek, thank you for joining us. Mr. Jacob, Mr. Abdel Fattah, thank you all for joining us. So yesterday, we discussed regulations and circular economy principles. Today, we will be looking at how technology is shaping the future of e-waste management. Before we begin, here is a quick overview of our agenda for the next 70 minutes. From 11:07 to 11:35 a.m., we will hear from our first speaker, Dr. A.L.N., who will be presenting on digitalization and tech tools for e-waste management. From 11:35 to 11:40 a.m., we will take some few questions from participants. From 11:40 to 12:20 p.m., we will welcome our final speaker, Mr. Sandy Agota, who will be taking us through robotics and future innovations in recycling. At 12:25 to 12:30 p.m., we will have our closing remarks. It is now my privilege to introduce our first speaker, Dr. A.L.N., who will be presenting on digitalization and tech tools for e-waste management. Welcome, Dr. Rao. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good morning, boys, girls, men, women. I am speaking from India, and we are 16:40 hours here, right? So good to see the interest on the waste management technology aspect that I find from various countries and especially from the African continent. And having been in this business for a very long time, I am with a company now called Recykal, where we have developed quite a few innovative tools and technologies. So the idea today is give you a little bit of information about the circularity aspect of the product life cycle of any product category, and also give you the tools that we have designed, developed, which will give you all a good view on some of the types of tools that are available and how it's making a difference. So that's the way how I thought, let me structure today's presentation. So may I share my presentation? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just give me a second. Is my presentation visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great. Just tell me if my slides are moving, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right, great. You see, disruptions is there in everyday's life. And I remember a few years back when I wanted to reach a particular place. I walk out there on the street, I try to take an auto rickshaw or a taxi or a cab, stop it, and they put the meter, and then we get going on wherever we want. Currently, technology has brought in disruptions in the mobility world, in the transport world. And I'm sure even in your country, there'll be Uber and others who would have disrupted the mobility aspect. Secondly, I remember, wanting to eat something, we need to travel quite a few distance and eat something and come. But that's changed with a lot of, quick commerce and various other companies who have come in trying to give even a 10 minutes delivery here in India, and it's there in many parts of the world also. So technologies has played a role in e-commerce, it's played in medicine, it's played in finance, it's played in events, movies, blah, blah, blah. I mean, various areas it's actually separates. So in the e-waste segment, the disruption, what could it be? Could it be a common marketplace for all stakeholders? Could it be digital passports, audits, certifications, standards, so on and so forth? So let me just take you through to what we have done in Recykal. Recykal is the company's name, is my company's name. So what we have done is we have given tech solutions for brands. We have given one-stop sustainability solution, digitized waste management. That brings in a lot of transparency, visibility with data everywhere. Consumers, various programs for trade-in buyback, awareness programs. Again, for the government, how do you encourage mass consumer behavioral changes and get the government to start moving? So we brought in a lot of digitization, automation, AI-driven optimization, so on and so forth. And finally, for recyclers, a digital marketplace, routings, warehousing, shipping, planning, so on and so forth, and all that. So who are we? We are basically a clean tech startup company where we are formalizing the circular economy in India. And we've been funded by Morgan Stanley and others. We have raised $35 million. And last year, I channelized 1.2 million metric tons on the platform of ours. With having the best of auditors and everybody, we bring in a lot of trust and traceability and transparency to the entire ecosystem. So what is it that we have done? We started off in 2016, and in 2016, we brought in for end consumers for household waste platform, and again, waste from facilities. Then we brought in 1819 a platform for bulk waste generators, and also for collectors, solid waste management. We brought in a waste collector management platform for them. Second, from 2019, we developed a marketplace for recyclables. And then that was a time where EPR came into the picture in India, the extended producer responsibility. So we developed an app. And then in 2022, we started off with Resolve, which is basically for industrial pre-consumer waste. The recyclers and aggregators, that app of marketplace and EPR was for paper, plastic, metal, electronics, batteries, tires. Everything was through AI, which we brought in. And last but not the least, we brought in IoT solutions for post-consumers waste, for collection, for processing. We brought in hardware solutions, software solutions for regulators, municipalities, corporations, so on and so forth. And we also brought in the digital deposit return system also, and some smart centers is something we brought in. So the idea was to come out with a tech platforms that connects all the stakeholders, where we are able to offer real-time visibility on anything and everything that takes place, giving it the trust and transparency to all stakeholders. And these are all the multiple awards global in India we won. So over 600 brands we have signed up for multiple platforms, over 12,000 businesses, over 100 recyclers, and 5,000 service providers. I did see a film that you were running earlier. So the idea here is that women empowerment, downstream, the rack pickers, and such people, how do you actually get them into the formal sector? And this is the marketplace platform where incentivization, giving a good livelihood for those people we have been able to create. And last is a digital deposit refund system, which bringing in mass consumer behavioral change. And across product categories of e-waste, battery, plastic, tire, oil, metal, glass, we operate on. So in a value chain, if you see, from a component manufacturing to production to distribution to the end consumer usage, second, refurbishing, collection, dismantling, recycling takes place. So what we have done in the entire product life cycle, we have come out with a solution for secondary raw materials, managing waste in production, the EPR, the trade-in buyback, the digital deposit return system, the consumer awareness programs, and the marketplace for compliant recycling is what we do. Taking you a little bit in detail, we developed a marketplace where for recycling, you need a lot of raw material. You need waste material. So we have brought in a platform which connects the buyer and the seller, which connects demand and supply. And we are able to make this through a unified platform for all the stakeholders. And what it does is it also gives the inventory rotation much faster for all the stakeholders, and working capital rotation takes place much, much faster. So the second one is actually, on the industrial waste, where the brands need, so when from a production, when it goes to a waste, in the production, there's waste generated. So what we have created is we created a circularity cloud where the waste generated auto recording takes place, disposals are managed, and then again it goes in to a recycler where it is recycled. Then either you produce parts or yarn or fingers or anything, and semi-finished goods from the recycled content go back to the production. So the entire production, industrial waste, for brands or the plant would need to track all the material across the value chain till disposal. And we keep track of the complete chain of events. And by proactively working out logistics, pricing, warehousing, shipping, packaging, manpower, transportation, compliances, we are able to bring the material circularity to the industry while offsetting emissions from resource extraction. And we use multiple platforms to make this happen. And same continuing there, in that platform, what we have done, we have driven, it's an AI-driven insights for maximizing economic returns and sustainable disposal. We have created various metrics here. Even for all the downstream vendors, compliance checks takes place completely and dashboards are created. The idea is, how do you get into real-time monitoring of compliances, documentation, processes, vendor management, end-to-end dashboard for informed decision making. So this is what we've been able to do. So running successfully in multiple, I would say, manufacturing units. And then after the production, when it goes to the end consumer, after the end of life of the product, comes in the EPR, which is the extended producer responsibility, or ITAD disposal. So you created platforms for that by formalizing the informal sector, bringing in tech-driven traceability, and ensuring that the right disposal takes place through this platform. And again, going forward, once the product is used, but where life is left, we have worked out with trade-in and take-back platforms where for any product category which is volumetric or non-volumetric, and it is pricing engines, and then grading of the products, testing of product qualities, evaluation of the product, validating the checks that takes place, and AI-based dynamic pricing engine, and created a hyperlocal marketplace also to selling these products. End to end, we're able to work out such programs. And we also have a marketplace where we have developed pricing engines, matching engines, finance engines, operations and logistics engine for metal, plastic, e-waste, paper, and glass. For buyers, it's a one-stop procurement with quality assured there and consistent supply. But whereas for sellers, it's a demand channel where it's a managed marketplace, and we try to bring in that support to all the buyers and sellers in understanding the needs of both the stakeholders and matching them and giving them all the details in real-time basis through various platforms or mobile applications. So just to play a video for you people. Right. So that was about the marketplace. Then we also came out with something very interesting. Simple plastic water bottles. And we said that there's a lot of, if you go abroad, any European country or the US and other parts of the world, you would have seen reverse vending machines where we put in a product, you get either points or you get cashback or you various ways it is there. But in a country like India, you cannot put reverse vending machines across the country. It will be very, very, very expensive. And maybe it's not the stuff waste inside the machine. Maybe the machine itself will be hijacked by somebody. So we do not know that, right? So we have to put it in safe places only. So hence we came out with some solutions where every shopkeeper in a street can be a part of this ecosystem. And we started off with plastics. Now we come out with metals, and we also come out with glass. So any glass container, metal container, plastic container can be a part of it. It's a cloud-based SaaS model where it's a very easy to use model, but this is something for an institution, for a small city, for a village, for a city, for a state, for a country. It can be used completely. And it has got compliance management, finance management, payments management, and technically, legally, commercially, anything and everything that takes care of this particular model. Why do we do it? Because we are able to get uncontaminated waste after usage from the end consumer, and we send it to recycling, where the recycler is able to make good money uh, because it's sorted, it's uncontaminated. Just to give you some more idea about this, let me take this film. That's it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Great. Zakia.
Thank you, Mr. Rao, for such a comprehensive presentation. We will now take some few questions from our participants. Please, you may raise your hand or post question in the chat.
Great. I think I have some few questions. Doc, thank you very much for making this presentation possible. We really appreciate. So from my point of view, I think Recycler have been one of the recycling companies within the e-waste sector that has been in existence for some time now and has really inspired some of us in our coming and all the solutions that we are basically bringing on board. So it's greatly having you present with us today. So I think India and Ghana has various commonalities in terms of the industry as compared to the informal sector dominance and within the value chain. So my question would be, how was it possible for your company to basically integrate most of these informal sectors onto your platform?
It has been very, 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 very tough. And how far have we succeeded? 5-10%. That's all. After 9 years, after spending millions of dollars, after doing millions of dollars worth business, it's hardly 5-10%. That's all. So what we understood is till such time there are no tailwinds from the government rules and regulations and compliances. We will not be able to make it happen. So because now from 2016, the rules have been framed, that the government is proactive and the push is being made into very, very big way, as well as not for the sake of compliances or for waste management, but to get the secondary raw material from waste recycling and give it back for manufacturing, right? So for that, the tailwinds are there. So hence, because of the tailwinds, we are able to make inroads very fast. And because we have been able to develop Asia's largest marketplace platform. People have started looking at it, trusting it, and it's taken 5-6 years for people to understand this applications for us. But now, with AI and IoT solutions we're bringing in, 600 brands are using currently. But a lot of these recyclers, a lot of informal sector aggregators, they use a app now, or platforms now, because it is also a livelihood for them. They earn some money through this. Yeah.
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 So it's
Great.
taken a
Thank
long
you.
time. It's not so easy. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. We have a question from Miss Angela. And here it goes. Do recyclers have a market in Ghana?
We see the solutions that we have are very many. And since we are there in e-waste, battery, plastic, tire, oil, non-ferrous, ferrous, glass, paper, so on and so forth. So every country is a market. Currently, we are not there in Ghana, actually speaking. However, for the EPR rules that has been announced in South Africa, we have given our EPR platform for the country. And they have started using the EPR platform. And now this platform is becoming the de facto platform for the whole country for producers, recyclers, aggregators, dismantlers, refurbishers, everybody, including the brands and the government also. And slowly and steadily, we will be value adding a lot of information into this so that it can extend from e-waste, it can go up to other product categories also. So that is what we are. So currently, we are not there in Ghana. Maybe Agabus is the man with whom we will go ahead in Ghana. We don't know.
We look forward to that, Doc. We look forward to that. It's really a pleasure.
Yeah.
Please, Mr. Umar Farouk, you can unmute and talk.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you to Doctor for his wonderful presentation. Doc, my question to you is, I'm actually happy about the platform you developed to achieve this waste management in India. However, I would like to know how the platform accommodates people who are not digitally literate. How does the platform accommodate for them?
Let's see. That's a very good question, Mr. Omar. You see, when we went to the rack pickers and when we said that, would you want to be a part of it? They said that, is there anything where you think that I will just press 3, 4? People are aware of smartphones. They use smartphones. They use quite a few apps also. But they said, if you can show me, train me 3, 4, 5 steps, I will be able to do it. So we said, okay, you know to use a camera, you can take photograph. Okay, take a photograph. And then we put in 3 or 4 steps where the inventory getting into the system gets recorded by touch of 3, 4 buttons only. And then of course the packaging, shipping, everything takes place there. That is one way where we found we could solve a problem. The second was this digital deposit return system. When we brought in, we went to a hilly pilgrimage site where lakhs of pilgrims comes in. That was a film you saw. And in the first year, for around 50,000 bottles, we put the QR codes. We gave an incentive of 10 rupees. We got back 45 bottles in 1 month. And then we started putting a deposit. The collection rate increased from 30, 40, 50, 55, 60% formally by the end consumer. But the track picker was able to identify it and say there's money in it. And he was able to bring it to the local shopkeeper who just scans it from the mobile phone. And the money gets transferred automatically into his account, connected with bank accounts. So now we have developed a system where they will wear a neck, in the neck, they will wear a small device, a hardware. And it's like a torchlight, you can say. And whenever they see a bottle which has got a QR code, they just scan it. And then they know that they will get an SMS in their phone that there is 10 rupees or 20 rupees available in this, and you can redeem this. So when you know there's money, these people will start using it. So how do you make it simple? That's what we have done. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
You
you,
very
Doc.
much. And I am really impressed about your initiative and then how you handle things to the local level. I'm really impressed, and I hope that in the near future, upcyclers would incorporate some of these technologies into their operations and then to help solve the problems faced by Mother Ghana in terms of electronic waste management. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all for your contributions. With no further questions, we will move to our next speaker. That is our final speaker, Mr. Sandy Agota. Mr. Sandy will be taking us through robotics and future innovations in recycling. Welcome, Mr. Sandy. Please, you have the floor.
Hello, I am Sandy Agota. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm here to talk about recycling and the future of robotics, right?
Yes.
No, robotics and future innovation in recycling. So let me share my screen. Uh, okay, please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, because of the network we have, I can't show my face because it would disrupt our network. So
It's okay.
this is my presentation. Robotics and I'm from Innovate Labs. Now, what is Innovate Labs? Innovate Labs is an R&D, a research and development as a service company. So our goal is to help Ghanaians bring their ideas to life. So we notice that people have ideas. They want to build things like this. Small businesses want to build machines or automate some part of their processes. However, these people may not have the capabilities to do this. What's the word for it? Uh, to uh, to build these automations into their system. So they come to us, we do the research and development, to aid them in their work. Our mission is to transform African economies and bridge the gap from idea to growth. Yeah, by making, as I said, by making design and small scale manufacturing services accessible to stakeholders along the product development value chain. Now, our mission is we notice that we are when it comes to this part of the world, like we consume a lot of things, but we seldom contribute to like anything. And most of the things that are designed are not even designed for us. You get it? So we take them and we try to them to what we have here. So our goal is to become a premier design firm, providing cutting edge design, so allow us to contribute to the global economy in terms of research and development. Yeah. Now, our core values is sustainability. So now, this is one of my favorite parts. The sustainability. So right now, most of the product that we use are linear. The they are linear systems, so they are designed for you to use when you're done using them. They make it so difficult to recycle or like upcycling of the part that you end up throwing them into the garbage because you can't use them for anything. So the sustainability in our core values is we make sure that about up to 80% of everything we produce, we incorporate circular economic values. So everything we produce, we make sure that about 80% of it at the end of its life can be reused in the system. Like it will go back into the recycling system. You can recycle it. So even in our contract that we signed, there's a clause in there that says that when you are done with the product or you no longer want it, you can give it back to us. You can sell it to us. We take it because most of the materials we use can be recycled, and we try to source some of the parts from so, the scrap yard and all those places. So in order to make the cost of prototyping cheap. Yeah. So now this is what I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about robotics in recycling, upcycling and scavenging for robotics, prototyping with upcycled parts, future innovations, impact, challenges, and then we'll go to the conclusion. I'll try to make it fast because I see my time is not a lot. So now the values you have here, I tried to get values for e-waste, but they were difficult. So I had to use, I want to paint a picture. So I tried to get values for e-waste, but they were difficult to get. So I other like a general waste value. So about 70% of the waste is collected in Accra. I'm talking about Accra. About 70% of the waste we generate in Accra is collected, and the rest is left uncollected. Now, of the ones that are collected, the 70% that are collected, only 20% are recycled. So the question is, what happens to the 80%? Now we burn them. Some, and based on what you have discussed, I'm assuming you have discussed so far, there are there are toxins in this waste that we're not supposed to burn. Understand? So this is one of the challenges. We have collection centers. We have people who go around to collect the waste. But when the waste is collected, what happens to it? We, there are no ways for us to check where the collectors when they collect it, where they take it to, and like all those. So we don't know what happens to the waste. All we know is that it is waste. They have collected it. Now that's done. Now why do we need robotics and innovation to in this space? Now, somebody will say that what are you going to use robotics or any form of tech innovation for in e-waste? Now, our problem with the collection and like trying to find what happens along the chain, like the recycling. When you collect my waste, where does it go? What are the collector use the waste for? From the collector's place, where does it go? Yes, I was like, where does it end up? Krakra, like Krakra in a sense, where does it end up? Now we can use robotics to solve robotics and tech innovation to solve this kinds of problem. One of the major problems is the leak. So there is a pocket in Agbogbloshie here that there is a concentrated amount of methane there. I think before the scrap dealers were asked to leave that place, there was a research conducted by GIZ, and there's a pocket of methane that if with a least mistake, it will ignite and consume the whole place. I don't know how they dispose of that part, but that is one what the side effects of our current recycling techniques. Now the other part is the toxic that seep into the soil. So right now, agglomeration, you can't plant anything at agglomeration. Like now there are toxins in the soil. In order for you to make that soil like livable, to introduce new ecosystem to that place, you have to dig up to from 6 to 7 feet and take all those things like dig that 6 to 7 feet deep of the whole agglomeration area. Take that because it's considered toxic. Dump it somewhere and then introduce a new soil to that place in order to make that place livable. You can build structures there as it is now, but as time goes on, just as when you build in this waterlogged areas, the water seeps into the building. That is what will happen to the buildings. So as time goes on, the toxics in the soil seep into the building. You get it. Now the other part is the waste that is not collected. We have some of them that go into the gut. Now I know that you guys are familiar with the flooding in Accra. Now most of this is waste through gutters and all of these things. So these are some of the challenges we have, and I'm hoping that as we talk in other parts of the world, uh, using robotics to solve. Good. So now, in terms of robotics in recycling, now how do we use robotics in recycling? So we are going to focus on one challenging part of recycling, which is sorting. I'm sure that Mr. Gabas, you're familiar with this problem. Sorting, especially plastic waste, into the various forms, because you can't mix some plastic with other plastic. And also, sorting, identifying the what's the word for it, the good part from the bad part. Do you understand? So in order to do this, at Innovate Labs, we are currently researching into systems that sort plastic waste into its various components. But that is not just us. Now, there are other companies like Zen Robotics who have an AI-powered system that sorts. It can sort up to 500. Let me see. Let's be sure. Can sort up to 500 different e-waste wastes, and then it has a database that it connects to. So it checks to make sure that whatever is being sorted is the right um, thing to sort. Yeah. Now, and in countries like okay, yeah, and in countries like Copenhagen like this, they have introduced this into their systems, so it makes the whole recycling process very easy. So right now we are talking about the future of recycling. Now, in order to introduce these systems into our my next slide will talk about how we can introduce this system into like this AI and other things into our current system without breaking our pockets. Okay, so now yeah, the next one is what robotic arms in the recycling plant. Now there are some things that are toxic to us, so we can't like for example, one of the biggest one is the CRT, the Tico TV, and then the LED inside it, and then there's also the fridge, and then those got inside it. Now these are things that we can build robots or program robots to do for us. Then another part is drones for waste monitoring. So, for example, you see this huge waste, I think waste parks that we have where people go and dump rubbish and all. Now, in order to make sure that people are correctly dumping or correctly segregating the waste and all in all these areas, we can use drones to monitor how the things are going in and where the various things are. Do you understand? So this is one aspect that we can use drones for. Now, the next one is how do we introduce these innovations without breaking our pocket? Good. So how do we introduce these solutions without breaking our pocket? So I'm going to talk about prototyping, scavenging. So now, when most of the e-waste that we collect, some of them can be reused, others can be you can get spare parts from them to repair other things. Now, my favorite part is reusing some of these things to produce like new machines. So in order to introduce these solutions, like simple ways to prototype these solutions, you can start by scavenging. So gathering parts like motors, some sensors like what's the word for it? Just LEDs and ultrasonic sensors, like various types of sensors. There is even you see the sensors that scanners use. Now those sensors can be repurposed to scan for they are not perfect, but they can be able to scan for in a short range. So they can even be used to help you identify some kind of plastics. Do you understand? And there's a research paper on that after my presentation. So that is one way we can introduce these innovations into our system without breaking our pockets. Now, the next part is the whole design philosophy. How do we design in future? Do you understand? So at Innovate Labs, we design using the circular economy framework, as I said earlier on. We design in such a way that we make sure that at every stage of our design, we ask ourselves, if this stage should break down, can I reuse some of the parts to do another thing? Or can it be easily repaired by the person I'm giving them to? So one is the repairability of the thing, and the other one is the reusability of the thing. So we need to incorporate this into all the new designs that we have. Do you get it? And then yes, the next one is the impact. Now you see, so for example, if we introduce solutions like this to places like aggregation. Now, aggregation, one of their main challenges is the cable burning. We have said it over the years. We have given them solutions, but they their problem is that by the smaller cables. Now, the one of the things that we can solutions that we both strip up for them. So this is purely theory. So you can put up a small cable stripping device for them that they can use, and this will limit the impact of the burning. Do you understand? Because now they can get their value without having to burn the e-waste. Now I can't show you images of that because it's proprietary to Innovate Labs, unfortunately. That's what I'm just talking about. That it is something that Innovate Lab is developing. Now, so for a solution like that, it would help with the burning. Now, you know that when we burn, the smoke goes up, and this smoke contains particles. Now, this particle land on food, and then we go and buy the food, and then we eat. Now, somebody will say that you're eating a car, so it won't affect you, but it will affect you one way or the other, because some of the things that come from a car, they come out to wherever you are, and these particles are on it. Okay, so this is one of the ways we can improve the life of the population. Now, the next part is introducing systems that will help them. For example, the robotic arm I spoke about. So for you can tell them instead of dismantling some of the things, they should just bring it and to the various. Now, I know that there are already companies in Ghana that actually take off this thing, but most of these companies are not equipped. Like they are not, they don't have this ro- robots and other things to help them do the dismantling effectively. So there are people with hazmat suits who do this work. Now, what happens if there's a cut or something? It will hurt the person. So introducing now this is all future this thing. It's not, something. It's not something that we are going to get in the next year. It's something that maybe in the next 5 years we'll be able to get. Now, I'm talking about all of this to spark what's the word for it? To get you thinking. You understand? Like to get you to think about, because e-waste is a very lucrative thing. Like there's a lot of money in e-waste. If we manage it very well, we can be able to get reap a lot of gains from it. Please, can you hear me? Hello, can, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
We can hear you.
Good, good. Yeah.
but it seems
So
your slides are not moving.
yeah, unfortunately my network is like that. I'm trying here, but it's
Okay.
after my presentation, I'll send a PDF on the slides for help. Okay, so introducing the benefits of introducing this new systems into our e-waste, our upside waste recycling or upcycling business. As I said, the first one is the environmental benefit. The second one is the economic benefit. Now, if you know, when you compare the formal way of dismantling to the informal way of dismantling, you notice that in the formal way we are able to uh, extract and retain more of the thing that we dismantle than the informal way. Now, if you introduce something in there, like an innovation in there, that will help uh, make the informal people, make it easier for the informal people to do what we do without the stress of having to, what's the word for it? Go, because I know they don't have time to go in deeper like we do. To, an innovation if you introduce an innovation that gets them to go deeper. For example, when they just threw the laptop in the machine. You're able to use magnets to separate the ferrous metals from the plastics and then the non-ferrous metals and all those things. And using electrostatic to separate the aluminum part, like the non-ferrous stuff from the general distance. So this is like a whole pot. So in this way, you're able to get more value for the materials that you're dismantling than using the old way. The other one is safer working condition. So instead of the workers using chisel and knife to cut open the batteries, you have a system that does that automatically for them. It cuts open the batteries, drains the fluids in the battery, the acid in the battery, so that they don't get in contact with people. And then the last one is, as I said before, that's my favorite part, innovation through resourceful. I know I've said a lot of things. I've mentioned a lot of solutions, or and ways that we can adapt, or we can introduce these solutions without breaking our pocket. But I'm going to have to add more to it. Now, the challenges of adopting the solution that I've said. Now, as I said before, the challenges of adopting the solution, breaking of pockets, which is our money should be going. But we use recycled parts or upcycled scrap parts to introduce the solutions little by little. We'll be able to improve our work whilst not breaking our pockets. Now, the next one is there is a chance that when we introduce these solutions, the people who already do those things are going to be displaced. Now, how do you prevent that from happening? We retrain them, like what GIZ has been doing. We train them to use this. The people who are cutting the batteries with their hands, you train them on how to use these machines to do the battery cutting and all those things. So they don't lose their work. Do you understand? Yeah. Yes. Now, okay. So now the conclusion to everything I'm saying is that our current state of e-waste recycling, we have a lot of things that can be improved. Now, if we introduce robotics and innovation into this, it will make our work easier for us. And the way to introduce the robotics innovation into this is through the scavenging method, doing it without breaking our pockets. So the Karakani said, recycling pleasure. Now, it avoids the mistakes of the past. You understand? Whilst making this whole system more appealing for the people who are coming after us. Yeah. Now, because you want to reuse some of the parts of the things that you are recycling or the things that you have collected, you will be more careful when you are dismantling. So now this one actually helps you a lot because you don't you dismantle in a responsible way. You understand? So you save yourself and you save a lot of fish in your pocket. So please, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Sandy, for sharing such future-oriented insights. Please, we will now take questions from participants. Okay, Umar Farouk, you can unmute and talk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sandy, for your wonderful presentation. Question is, what type of e-waste does your innovative solutions concentrate on handling?
Okay, so currently our focus is on plastic recycling. So we build machines for plastic recycling. The plastic includes the plastic from machines. So there's is it HPE and others like hardened plastic from this laptops and computers. So we build shredders, we build extruders, and recently we are working on a prototype for a pavement uh, making machine that uses this plastics fused with sand. So that's what we
Okay.
focus on. But we have so we do research in other areas for other people and when they are interested in this various type of other research.
Okay. So please, considering the homogeneous nature of the chemical composition of the different plastics that are available, how do you factor this into building the shredders and other tools that you design for handling these waste in order not to in order to prevent maybe complex reactions that might take place when there's inappropriate mixing of certain chemical constituents of different plastics?
Yeah. So this is one of the problems that we are currently facing. So unfortunately, most of the people that we have made these machines for do not have the funds to get the complicated systems that they need to sort this plastics in order to prevent the chemical things you're talking about. So what we do is we make sure that they use only a certain kind of plastic. So for example, if we design a machine for shredding, say, plastic fibers, we make sure that whoever operates the machine knows that this is what the machine is for, so that you don't introduce other things into it. Whilst we work on the side to introduce the solutions that will prevent future instances of cross shredding or the melting, as you said. So for now, we are relying on the human beings to do the work. Unfortunately, yeah, as we work on a simpler solution for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, my last question is, considering the current nature of the high rate of microplastic contaminations, how do you take this into consideration when designing your shredders to avoid secondary contamination of plastics in the form of microplastics?
Okay, so one, most of the shredders that we designed, they are enclosed. So they even where you so the funnel where you put the shredders, the plastic into the shredder is enclosed, and then the parts where the plastic comes out is also enclosed. Now, uh, it's we are not able to get all the plastics, but most of the plastics are extruded into sacks and then tied up after. We're not able to get all the plastics, but we are trying our best. Now, I understand the issue of the micro because the microplastic. One of the places that we are facing such a problem is the pavement blocks because we know that when we mount these pavement blocks in the road for people to walk on, as they walk on, they will be dragging their feet or something. So, and when it rains, the plastic will wash into the distance. So, what we are trying to do is we are trying to our current solution is the sun is actually helping us in like making this plastic very hard to wear.
Mm.
So far, that's the only solution we have been able to come up with in the pigment
Okay.
block aspect and
All right.
including the various. Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation and then your answers. I'm very grateful.
All right, sir. So Sandy, thank you very much for your presentation. I think my question will be, do you have any samples of product, like basically product that you've really developed and is out there for sale or for something? So let's say, for instance, Upcyclers, we are also into the collection of thermoplastic. So should in case we need most of these innovative technologies to basically process most of these thermoplastics that we have, how do we get access to you? Do you have any product portfolios that we can have a look at? What is the capacity? What is most of those aspects? Do you have something of that sort that is very available for exploring?
yes, we do. So if you know Recykal Lab, they recently used some of our okay, no, they used some of our one of our machine, the extruder, but they use some of our machine, the extruder. Now the problem with this is that because of the nature of the machines we build, they're expensive. So we don't build them like we don't have them in stock. We build them as and when people need them. Because, for example, we can build a shredder for this thing. We can build a shredder for shredding thermoplastics, but somebody might need a shredder for shredding something else.
Hmm.
Do you understand? And that will mean changing something. So when you come to us with your say your problem or what you want, even though we have the blueprint, we just tailor it to fit what you want. So you get it. So if you are shredding thermoplastic, we're going to make sure that the only component that we will need to change in the whole assembly is the lace that the shredder uses to shred, and then maybe tune the gears of the motor to shred at a different rate because of the plastic. So we do that for you. Do you understand? So we
Yeah,
don't have the machines in stock. However, we do have a portfolio that I can share with you after the call of the machines
very
that we have produced
very good.
regarding
That would be perfect,
yeah,
so that our participants could have a fair idea of most of these robotics or innovations in place that
yeah.
could basically
I'll,
help change mindset.
yeah. Yeah. Also, one of the things that we also we work with agro processing machines. So, for example, recently built a palm oil.
Mm.
I think so. The machine we don't have a name for the machine, but essentially what it does is when people come from the farm, the palm oil, it reheats it and then helps them bag it into whatever container they want to use. Yeah. And
Okay.
then the other one is this black soldier fly harvesting. They use it for fertilizers and feed. So we have a harvester for those things too.
That's great. We have Derek hand up. Derek, you can unmute and speak. Hello, Derek. Can you hear?
Thank you very much. I'm here. Thank you.
All right.
So, Mr. Sandy, in your presentation, you made mention of you depending on labor to do the sorting at the recycling sites. So, in the future, we are now incorporating the AI-powered sorting at the recycling plants. So, what are the strategies like strategies in place for those currently working? Because when the AI is being introduced, it might lay off these people. Some of them might be home. So, what are some of the strategies that should be put in place to take care of these people? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now, so we may have AI for sorting. Oh, first and foremost, thank you for the question. Now we may have AI for sorting and that thing, but we don't have any machine to put the plastics in the uh, machine for the sorting to happen. You understand? So we will still need the people. However, what we are going to do is we are going to teach these people how to use these machines effectively. So he said, you're not taking their work away from them. We're just making their work easier for them. Also, Innovate Labs does not operate these machines. We just build them for the companies that use them. You understand? But what you said is very important. So one of the things that we actually try to incorporate is we know that people are afraid of losing their jobs to robots. So what we try to do is we try to make sure that the robots and the human will work hand in hand to make it better instead of just the robots working. So as I said before, we the people who are already doing the sorting are the ones that are going to be using this machine. So some of these machines are actually handheld. The prototypes are like handheld that you can use to like scan and then the plastic so that it's a human being using it, not a machine. Please, does that
Okay.
answer your question?
Yes, please. Thank you very much for your answers. I really appreciate that.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Nasir, please, you can unmute and talk.
Yes, thank you very much, madam. My is just to find out with all this innovation and technological aspect of these ways that we are talking of, in terms of local assembly willing to collaborate to set up a, a plant like this, how is it going to be done and what are the processes involved? And then the funding, in terms of funding, what will happen? That is just my.
Hello, sir. Can you repeat your question? I didn't get the first part.
Yes, what I'm saying is that it's a good idea of introducing these robotic measures. And I'm just saying that in terms of a local assembly willing to set up something like that, what are the procedures in terms of collaboration? And then in terms of funding, what are the source of funding in terms of implementing such a plan? Yeah, that's my
Okay,
question.
so okay, so for now, Innovate Labs is a private owned business. We do partner with uh, universities for now. We only partner with universities. So unfortunately, I do not have answer for the local partnership. However, sometimes we get consulted, um, we get asked to consult by the local scrap dealers in terms of what kind of machines they have to use for their work. So that is one way. And the funding, well, our funding mostly comes from grants and people paying for our service. But if you're talking about funding on how to introduce these solutions, I believe, Mr. Gabas, we have the e-waste fund, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So there is an e-waste fund that basically fund most of these things. But then from the standpoint view of metropolitans and government organization, I think you would have to basically liaise with some of these funding opportunities that directly comes for most government interventions and those aspects. I think there are a whole lot of funding opportunities out there that you can really explore. And as yesterday, the presenter who basically spoke about the regulations and public-private partnership. Those are some of the ways in which public and then private organization can collaborate on projects and basically have access to most of those funding activities. So I would want to play this video that basically also depicts a real life illustration of how robotics are being used within the e-waste recycling space. So without further, we can just have the company is called Hero, and basically they use robots to dismantle the various e-waste that we have. So basically this is how they do it. They've automated all the processes, and this robot is able to remove all the screws on various monitors and even most of our LED screens. So this is how the processes goes. Now it separates the plastics. Yeah. Now about to dismantle, removing the circuit boards. Great. So this is more like a typical example of various innovations that are being exploited within the e-waste value chain. And as young individuals on this call, we can also kind of have in mind in seeing how we can also contribute in bringing forth innovative technologies such as what Innovator is basically doing currently. Regardless of robotics or human-centered design, still we will need most of these innovations to basically make our work much more easier. So this is a typical example of it. I hope it's been helpful. Okay. Awesome. So should in case we have any question, any remarks, moving forward, we could basically have them and then close for the day. Mr. Omar.
Yes, please. My question is to you, Mr. Agabas. I want to know, are there going to be certification for attendance of the program? That is one.
Yep.
And two, are we going to receive recording of the program? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Omar, for your question. So yes, as we made mention earlier on, certification will be made available upon request, and this is also based on your attendance on the call throughout these 3 days, as well as the assignment that was given yesterday. We look forward in having your input on those assignments. After then, we would be sending the certificate to you through your emails. Secondly, all these videos will be made available for you to kind of replay and basically learn more from various speakers who were invited to speak. So all of these resources, the video, the slides will be made available to you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Great. Now, I think I would like to use this opportunity to say the closing remark by thanking all of you for participating in this 3-day crash course right from the beginning to the end. We really appreciate your time for joining, and then as well for taking time to engage in a proactive and as well as interactive discussions throughout these 3 days. We would also want to thank our speakers for their valuable insight shared with us. I think it's been really, really tremendous. And we thank them for their time and we thank them for their support in helping us to achieve this maximum goal. Now, we would urge all participants to also share their learnings throughout this 3-day program on LinkedIn, Facebook. Just tag us and share what you have really learned from this 3-day crash course. We would also share with you some feedback survey. Then you'll be able to help us to know what really went well, what didn't go well, and how we can also improve these sections moving forward in the near future. So I would really like to plead on your part to kind of on your camera so that we can have a group picture and close for the day. So kindly on your pictures, kindly on your cameras, then we can have a group picture. Okay, great. Okay. Now, 1, 2, 3. Let's say cheese. 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 Great. Thank you very much for being with us throughout these 3 days. We trust you enjoyed your session and we look forward for future engagement. Thank you very much, Doc, for being on board. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Look forward
Hello,
to.
hello, hello, hello,
Yes, Doc.
hello,
Doc, yeah.
hello, hello, hello. The assignment, I think some of us did not get it. So if we can get it again.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll be sharing the slide with you after this call, so probably you could get it. I think I will specifically identify the slide number for you. It is on the circular economy presentation that Madam Ubuntu made, so you'll be able to have it. Okay, we can still do that. Why were your camera off? I think Doc, you wanted to say something.
No, nothing as such.
Okay,
It's been very interesting. I like it. It's a nice way of putting together something like this, bringing in experts and making people speak. I
yeah.
think it's a good learning experience for a lot of boys, girls out there, entrepreneurs who are wanting to get into this. So doing a good job. Give it up, all of us. Yeah.
And we look forward in our future collaborations as we've been discussing. I'm really super interested and then see how we can really collaborate on this.
Always there to help. Always. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I'm taking the pictures again. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.